right, it is 1:26 p.m., 1:27 p.m. And on June 29th, I'm at the Chase Bank, and the light source is seen through the windshield of that vehicle that's group stalking. And I believe this is Hollywood that I'm driving on at the same time. Remember, this video starts at 1:17 p.m. I've been capturing images of the light source that remains in this position, seen through the windshields on this property, the rear facing windshields. Also, there's no sun over my apartment building, which I would not be able to see from this location. Facing this direction, my front door is facing this way. I aim my camera straight ahead, and building 1806 is that direction. So from my front door, I cannot see the sun that would be facing building 1810. In addition, there's no sun that would possibly be seen through the windshield of this third party that is group stalking with LAPD in helicopter. There's a light source right there. All right, and this is the third party that's crossing path, while that which is not the sun is over my vehicle, which I repeatedly showed through my sunroof. And this is at the same time. So I started this video at 1:26. This is license 9JPN111. They are going to federal prison. Okay, they're engaging in terrorism on the roads and the highways, while the entity is also engaging in the use of interstate commerce, stalking in the helicopter. You're going to prosecute all the ways in which you can prosecute for terrorism, while the entity uses planes, helicopters, is on the venue of the internet, using communication devices where federal stalking is underway. So as I come to the Chase Bank at 1600 Vermont Avenue, okay, this is not that. This is directly over building 1800 North Alvarado Street. This is the leasing office. This is causing my shadow right here at my feet. This is my shadow right here. This is, again, not even over my front door at the same time. This is showing what is the demonic environment, stalking with a fake sun. Understand what the target individual is subject to, and it's in the workplace, and while you're stalking in helicopters, which is exactly what the entity was doing on June 29th. And you see this third-party facilitating venue, Chase. Let me be clear. The Alvarado Gardens Apartments is a third-party facilitating venue, and it just so happens that I work here, and the fact that I live here, that's speaking to all the ways you're going to prosecute the state that is engaging in surveillance. And you know beyond a reasonable doubt that group stalking is indeed underway, which is state terrorism, and that my rights under federal law with regard to being a patron of Chase Bank are also being violated simultaneously, which are independent bases for prosecution of an exposure of Chase Bank. And while you have a state system underway, J.P. Morgan cannot reasonably contend ignorance with regard to what Chase Bank is, which is a group stalker. You cannot reasonably contend that you are ignorant while the employees and the people of the state, both being patrons there and working there, are in the specific environment and acting pursuant to the same pattern of conduct. This is terrorism that I'm subject to at Chase Bank at 1600, where I will show you the light source through the windshields of the vehicles at that property, which is not going to occur if this was the sun at the same time. It is the pattern of conduct that's underway. Never mind that audible activity. Jose and Sons Landscaping, they're going to federal prison. Then they're going to be deported. They're monitoring right now while they're witnessing their prosecution. There's the light source through the windshield of third-party group stalker 9JT and 327. And you know their condition, and you know their criminal system, because the phenomenon remains wherever that I'm at and follows wherever I go, which is speaking to the demonic environment. This is demonic activity that I'm documenting, and that use of a leaf blower is audible activity under the fake sun, which you're directly juxtaposing to that which is occurring at the same time, which is an impossibility with regard to the natural environment, where you are not innocently using landscaping tools in my presence. You are doing so in concert with the entity that is stalking in helicopters at this venue at the same time. Okay, so let's look at that documentation. What I was feeling inside of my apartment, this is the entity that's maintaining a light source over my head inside of my car and stalking in helicopter, incriminating all the people of the state, including Chase Bank, while I am subject to this terrorism. And this is the terrorism that I'm subject to, as you know, inside of my apartment and at work, okay? Following me everywhere that I go, which is the documentation that I've been capturing for years. The light source through the rear view mirror, the documentation of a third-party group stalker, all right? And this is terrorism, statewide terrorism, and it is revealing also what Satan is doing. This is demonic activity. This is the presence of massive surveillance. It's terrorism, and it's also an exceedingly violent sex offense while a population keeps me under surveillance, all knowing together when my panties are down, holding the hands of minor children, engaging in that criminal system. So I want to be clear, the light source is not only remaining over me while the entity is stalking in helicopter, which you can see through the vehicle windows. The entity flies over the top of my head, all right, as I am going through the park. Everybody's crossing paths, just one after another, just like they do here at all hours of the day and night, living in relevant position. Right? And LAPD flies directly over my head. Flies directly over my head while they fly off, remaining in relevant position under the light source that is not over Alvarado Gardens in this zenith position at all. It's a grand departure, and the fake sun nonetheless remains directly over me, which you can see as I park in the parking lot. As I walk to the entrance of Chase Bank, so does that fake sun remain directly over the top of my head. Okay, and so this is not the same. And also, I want you to witness the light source that remains over me as I walk. This is 1:29, the video ending at 1:27. It's currently 1:32, so at this time on June 29th, I'm already inside, and you see the fake sun's not going anywhere because I'm not going anywhere. This is documentation of what is present. It's a specific environment. Chase is not engaged in any lawful operation of a business such that you are under any circumstances immune to civil and criminal prosecution. The light source is seen through the windshield of Chase Bank at 1600 Vermont Avenue, where I'm showing you where I remain at 1810 North Alvarado Street, facing a very specific direction at the same time. All right, and this is the pattern of conduct, in addition to the fact that there is no sun that's also in Ontario, California, over the Oba Family Community Library, like I documented on this day in 2022. What you will also pay attention to is the entity that is number one, crossing path in airplane, but secondly, the entity is engaging in what is on video, on television, online. You can look at the police chase. Glendale Police, they're under a fake sun. It's ongoing corroborating evidence about what the whole population is engaging in. The fires in Fontana, California, pay attention to the light activity. There's no sun that will be over them, and there is nothing that the entity can do to avoid this exposure and prosecution as a state. So while I am, just wanted to point that out, while I am remaining in Los Angeles and I'm at Chase Bank, this is the maintenance of a light source in the same manner, and that's impossible to be the natural environment. It's also impossible with regard to the circumstance, the shared circumstance, that while people are group stalking in laundry rooms, people are group stalking on the roads and highways, people are group stalking me in helicopters in an environment that is a scientific phenomenon. All right, it is literally impossible to naturally occur. This is characterizing the stalking system, and it is in every regard a method to intentionally torment and terrorize an American citizen. It's federal group stalking and monitoring, and it is underway at JP Morgan and Chase, a bank where I am a patron, and all of my information is public information. And this is understanding the criminal act, the criminal system, and all I'm doing is going to a venue, not a business. It's a venue, a facilitating venue, under no circumstances protected for purposes of civil and criminal prosecution. And literally, it's corroborated while LAPD is flying in circles over it, and you see the light source over it in its zenith in the same way that it is here. While I walk to the entrance, literally up to the front door, and I want you to see that fake sun remains directly over me, and then the engineer light is inside of Chase Bank. So I want you to understand the presence of the light source, number one. That's speaking to the condition of those that are operating communication devices and are engaged in federal stalking, all right, which is an inherent violation of federal laws governing the operation of a bank and the banking system. All right, in addition to what is a violation, an egregious one, at a level that federal law has never contemplated. It is no accident. It is no failure of technology. It is a criminal system of surveillance that is revealing what the entire state of California is engaging in, with the entity, by the way, that flew over Chase Bank in circles to communicate a specified threat to me. And in the environment where I'm showing you the sun, as I documented on June 30th, 2024, it's not over my front door, as I'm now at my leasing office front door, facing in a direction that is, under all circumstances, is excluding the possibility that that could be the sun while it's over my head at the same time at the front door of my apartment. Never mind the fact that it's not the sun that will be over Chase Bank while it's over my head as I remain the next day at my apartment. This is the fake sun. Okay, this is indeed the fake sun, and it's right here, and it is the same time. Okay, and you already know that this is where the light source remains. That's why I capture it through the windshield of third parties' vehicles till the end of the day. At 5 p.m. you can still see it through the windshields of those who both live here and work for speaker companies at Alvarado Gardens. There's no distinguishing between a third party other than status for purposes of civil and or criminal prosecution. That's the only difference. They're all demon possessed, and they're all engaged in state surveillance in relevant position and on the venue of the internet. Not only is the fake sun over my head, but as I walk inside, this is the engineered light.
All right, so here is engineered light. Yeah, so you can see that. This is engineered light that's on the ceiling. This is absolutely possible, and I'm just getting money out the